All right, in this video, we're going to go over how to read a DEXA scan printout. So this is what it normally looks like. There's a lot of information on here, like the patient name that I have erased and labeled patient C, patient ID numbers, medical information, all of that stuff. But the main thing you need to pay attention to is the age, which often is on the right-hand side at the top with the patient information, and then the T-score and Z-score, right? So before we talk about how to read this, let's go back to the definitions a little bit. Talk about what is a DEXA scan, what is a DEXA scan and how to read it. So a DEXA scan, as mentioned earlier in the video, is basically like an x-ray for your bones, and it tells you the density of your bones. And there's often two printouts or two scores that come out. So instead of writing down the density number, they give you a T-score and a Z-score. So these two names actually come from statistics, and it's the average of most people's bone density. So a T-score is the average healthy adults, right? And we often use this for individuals who get fractured a lot or have underlying conditions where they often have fractures in their bones because of genetic issues or just sports, right? So when we're looking at a T-score, we only use it to identify someone who is at risk for osteoporosis or who has osteoporosis um, under the age of 30. So you are all under the age of 30. So if you get a DEXA scan, we would use a T-score to read you. So if your T-score reads negative 2.5 to below up to -4, you are considered as an individual who has osteoporosis. But if your T-score reads -1 to -2.5, you are at risk for osteoporosis, or you have low bone mass, but you don't have it yet. And then a healthy score range is anywhere greater than -1 all the way to +1, right? Okay, so the other score you'll see in a DEXA scan is for people over the age of 30. So this is usually women who are going through menopause or individuals who are at risk for osteoporosis just due to old age. So their score is pretty much the same, slightly different, right? So someone who has at risk of osteoporosis, who has osteoporosis and is over 30, we would use their Z-score, and their reading would be -2 to -4, right? So this is only for individuals over 30. And for individuals over 30 who have a Z-score of something greater than -2 all the way to -1 would be at risk for osteoporosis or have low bone mass. That's another term for it. And then anything above -0.1 to 1 is considered healthy for their age, right? The reason why we use a different score for individuals over 30 is that it would kind of be unfair if you are higher in the age brackets and you're comparing yourself to the bones or the bone density of someone much younger and healthier, right? It's, it's kind of like not comparable. You'll always come off like unhealthy. So that's what the Z-score is for. So looking at this individual, their age is 55. So go ahead and pause this video and think, should we use the T-score or should we use the Z-score since they are 55 years old? Okay, so hopefully you said Z-score because Z-score is something that we read for individuals over the age of 30. Okay, so these are the two score readings. And if you notice that there's an L1, L2, L3, L4 region, so this is an x-ray of their spine. So it's the lumbar spine 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it gives you a score for each bone in their body, but it also gives you a total at the bottom. So mainly it's the total that we're going to look at in this class. So the total is negative 1.7. What does that mean? Well, since we're looking at the z-score, since they're 55, right, and their z-score is negative 1.7, that's going to fall somewhere within this range. So they have low bone mass. They are at risk for osteoporosis, right? So that's how you would read one patient's. And then I have a couple more examples for you in the next slide. You can go ahead and look through those and answer the questions related to that in order to figure out someone's diagnosis.